Okay, well, welcome back, Michael. We had an interesting chat last visit. Today, we're going to talk more about use cases. Can you generally talk about how the AI clusters and the platforms enable use cases, say, in the smart city?
Sure, Peter. Thank you again for having me back. It's a pleasure to be here again. Um, and again, AI is just so prolific. It's everywhere. It's no better place than cities that are utilizing AI tools and services to redefine the customer experience. And we're seeing use cases throughout cities, including digital twins, digital humans, as well as a variety of traffic and public safety solutions, all designed around making cities safer, more efficient, and a great place to be.
And from a platform standpoint, public safety and transportation seem to be very sophisticated. Is there somewhere that a local government can combine these platforms, or do they stay discrete? How can you look at this from the big picture and maybe have one comprehensive plan?
I think what you got to look at is deciding your data sovereignty role, and if you want to use a cloud first approach, a hybrid approach, or a on-premise approach. I really lean towards the hybrid, which is a little cloud, a little edge or co-location, a little on-prem. Sometimes you're not going to want to send data from a traffic light all the way to the cloud if it's not needed. Keep that data at the edge. So it's really based on each use case. It's also based on what you're comfortable with from a security standpoint, also a cost standpoint. When you're sending data from a camera all the way to the cloud, that can be very expensive. Keeping that video maybe local, a little bit less expensive. And so from a budget perspective, so from security, use case, and budget.
Okay, and can you expand a little bit more on how an AI platform operates at the edge or in distributed manner? Can you talk a little bit about
Sure.
that?
Sure. So actually, the edge I really think is going to be an explosion of opportunity. Um, let's take a look at a traffic light. If we're managing a traffic light, we want to keep that data at the edge. We don't need to send every signal change up into the cloud or even to our main data center or colo center. We're going to want to keep that at the edge. We're going to process all that data at the edge, make decisions at the edge with agents and agentic AI. And Peter will have to come back another time and talk more about what agents are and how they're going to impact government. Who's even going to hire the agent? I mean, just imagine you're going to hire a digital agent to come in and manage your stoplight. Who's going to manage the digital agent? But back to your point, is a lot of the data and the things that AI is analyzing, there's no need to store it in the cloud or send it up. You'll process all that locally and only send up the metadata that's really needed, or you'll just keep it at the edge because it's until it's called up or required. So you're going to see more and more of the data coming back to the local. Almost to me like the mainframe days. You had the mainframe, which contained all the brain,
Mhm.
and the terminals were dumb. I mean, Peter, you and I remember that. The mainframe turned off, every computer was off.
That's
Then we
right.
went to client server, which was we had servers in the back end and clients on the both of them had CPU, both of them had brains, and client server was born. Then we went to cloud. Again, we're sending all the data like the mainframe back into the cloud. Now we're going to see some of this more, and this is more when you think about public safety solutions. What happens if the internet went down or your connection to the internet went down? So you're really going to want to have that edge capability to process, analyze, and make decisions locally, and then sending data back up to the cloud or your data center.
That's wonderful. I often make that analogy that we've sort of gone back to the mainframe days because of this leap in the technology. So I'm glad you see the same thing. All right. Well, with that said, I won't blather on. I'm going to jump out and let you go through some of the use cases. I know you have them spelled out pretty well on some slides. So thank you again for joining us, and I'm going to jump out here. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Peter. Well, let's just go through some of the use cases. We've talked about use cases, but we'll kind of break them down into some more that are more bite-sized components for you. So on the mobility side, which is be traffic, looking at using cameras to look at, how citizens are using the sidewalk, how many bicyclists are using biking lanes. Is there a reason that more cyclists don't use it? Maybe the lines aren't painted properly. So AI has been able to look at the data, allow you to kind of make some decisions based on that data. Curb management are your curbs being utilized by delivery vehicles, not allowing citizens to park or impeding Uber and Lyft drop off? So a lot of those type of use cases. um, Forecasting, a lot of people are using it to forecast street maintenance, and by utilization, using AI to look at all the flow of traffic, even deciding when you're going to do the maintenance based on roadway usage, as well as utilizing that data for when the road should be resurfaced or maintained. Um, Again, sustainability. People are creating digital twins in government, looking at, if we add 10 buildings downtown, what's that going to do for traffic? What's that going to do to impact our energy and water usage? And from a sustainability perspective, how that might impact the city. One of the biggest areas we've seen a lot of growth recently is, unfortunately, with flooding and fires, disaster management, having the capability of using AI to run disaster scenarios, allowing first responders to understand what could happen and how they might better prepare to meet those challenges. We're also seeing it in cybersecurity, utilizing the same type of technology, to mitigate and to understand how better to approach a cyber incident. Again, civic engagement, we've kind of gone through some of these already. That's that digital services, chatbots, interacting with your community, providing better ways for citizens to apply for a business license, better ways for citizens to interact digitally, utilizing AI, whether it be asking questions about how to add a room on, to an addition to their home, or getting a permit for a water heater. Instead of utilizing humans, government agencies are utilizing intelligent humans to kind of work and walk people through the processes for what they need to do in order to have that water heater replaced and have it inspected. Housing and urban planning, again, this is again where we're looking at utilizing digital twins, looking at heat islands. What if I planted 10,000 trees? Utilizing AI to go ahead and simulate what 10,000 trees would look like in a city and the impacts. And there's a lot of other ones, very similar. If I create open space, what would that do? Again, all these types of use cases are fantastic. It really depends on what your council, your government is looking at doing. So from traffic management, we have airport operations, reducing passenger lines, looking at luggage, safety and security. Somebody maybe has a weapon that's not supposed to. Even from colleges and professional teams that are using AI for real-time sports and analytics. Um, we have industry, utilizing AI to look at products, look at doing quality assurance, all types. We've talked about the digital twin with the digital human. Um, we've talked about fire, being able to look for smoke and other types of debris, create an alarm. We could say the same thing with K-12 schools. Maybe a child has left the classroom and is in the hallway when not supposed to be. Anything you can kind of think of as a use case from a visioning perspective, we have a solution out there, that would you could utilize, or a blueprint to help you solve that challenge. And then obviously we've talked about our AI agents, where you can download or you can find a ISV or a partner company that would give you an opportunity to detect traffic, detect accidents, and utilize those. And all these are real use cases here, where we've been implementing solutions in cities and jurisdictions. One of the hottest trends right now is digital twins. A lot of people don't understand all the capabilities of a digital twin, so I just kind of walk you through a highlight here of a few. We have traffic for digital twins in traffic. We have digital twins for growth in the city, adding a new skyscraper. What would that look like? Bridge management, looking at a bridge, looking at its what it can handle for strength purposes. So before a bridge is built, you can put the bridge, model it, add it into your simulated environment, and say, hey, we had 20,000 people from downtown. They're going to leave, go over this bridge. You'll find out what the traffic impacts might be. You'll find out what the delays might be from there. Again, land planning, we're adding more houses. What's that going to do to our water footprint? What's that going to do to our traffic footprint? How will our police and response times be? So you'll be able to load all these, your data sets from many years or 2 years worth of public safety calls, add that in, add the houses, and see what kind of impacts that might have. Plant operations as well, managing your plants, whether it be electrical utility plants or water and sewer. We see a lot with AI and simulating additional capacity, or a pump breaks, what's the impact going to be to our citizens? And we talked a little bit about heat islands already, or fires and floods, utilizing a digital twin to say, hey, look, if we get 20 inches of rain, what would that look like? And be able to utilize that. So I'll give you some ideas of what digital twins do. Think of them this way. They're simulation engines that allow you to simulate things that are happening using real data or synthetic data. You can do either or. Most cities want to use their historic data to try to predict what might happen in the future. We have another great product called Earth 2. You can go out and Google on Earth 2, Nvidia Earth 2, and you'll see what it does. But it's really a one-of-a-kind product that allows you to simulate weather. Those of you that have Esri implementations or GIS can utilize these tools to look at wind, look at fire conditions, flooding, tornadoes, disaster management. Really a great tool and resource. And that kind of wraps us up, Peter, with what we've kind of provided. I've left my name and information here on the screen for anyone interested in following up. I think really the call to action for all of you is to engage with your peers. Reach out to me as well if you need assistance or you're looking to start your AI journey. There's just so many things, and this is only one episode, I hope, of many that we do together to really help you walk through AI and really help you get involved. Again, at the end of the day, we want you to be successful, and that's really what we're all here about. So, Peter, I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, Michael, could you, if you're a local government, say a CIO, and you're trying to work with your mayor and the council and the commissioners, where would you see sort of the entry point beyond Chat GPT, right? Besides that element, where should they be starting, or should there be? Is there somewhere in their organizations that might be already advanced that they may not all be coherently, integrated? How do you see that?
That's a great, Peter. That is a fantastic question. It's a question I get asked on a regular basis. The advice I generally give everybody is, what are your city council priorities? If it's to lower crime, then start with AI projects around reducing crime, if that's your goal. Now, how do you want to reduce crime? Have that conversation with your police chief. Do you want to put up a couple cameras? Okay, that's great. What are the use cases for the cameras? Is it looking for people like in a parking garage and are breaking into vehicles? What are the things you're looking to solve? And from once you have that kind of outline, then I always recommend doing a pilot. There are so many great companies out there that want to work with individuals, with CIOs. We're a neutral party. I'm here to help, not recommend any one company, but to help guide people to be successful utilizing AI. But in that case, in the parking garage with police, it would be do a small pilot, learn the technology, work with your police chief, see if they or your first responders, ensuring that they're getting the value out of it. Once you've kind of got that level playing field, then go to expansion. I can tell you, Peter, many projects I did in Las Vegas were fantastic. The reason they weren't scalable and they didn't go as far as I needed them to do is I didn't bring my users or my customers in from the very beginning. So bring them in on the beginning, have the conversations, ask for what the outcomes are. What outcomes do you want? Then bring in the technology.
Mm-hmm. And how do you how could a local government identify the proper partners that might be able to take them on sort of this AI NVIDIA driven journey?
Peter, another fantastic question. I mean, it's look, being a CIO today is challenging. It's hard. I did it for 25 years. I'm thankful I got through it. And so I think, the bottom line here is look, start small, talk to your peers. I mean, this is your forum, Peter, is fantastic, where peers get together. Everybody should be working with one another, sharing stories. Do your research. And look, somebody like myself, reach out. We'll provide you with 8 or 9 companies you can interview, and see what one you like best. It's really all about personal choice and organization, but don't just go out and pick one before you look at it 3 or 4. Really get your feet wet. Look at a couple. This industry is changing so quickly. You want to really walk it through and check with your peers and what's been successful for them. May not be successful for you, but at least you'll understand where maybe they didn't get as much value, where you don't hit those same pitfalls.